Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is Mandy from Dandaria Partners. Today, I'm going to introduce you how to start a business in China. And now we will start to see a very brief introduction and see the PPT that I prepared. So today, I'm going to briefly introduce how to start your business in China. I'm from Dandaria Partners and basically provide various legal services with international located offices, and I am in Shanghai now. So basically, if we are talking about starting your business in China, I would recommend generally 3 steps. Firstly, we decide what kind of business that we're going to do. Like for example, what kind of industries, what kind of areas, and also what kind of cities we're going to invest. Secondly, we decide what kind of forms of business. For example, we set up a new company by ourselves, or we cooperate with the Chinese people, with the Chinese company to set up a new company. Or we just purchase certain shares from a Chinese company, or we invest in certain projects. Thirdly, also it's like a procedural issues. If we decide what kind of industry that we're going to do and what kind of companies we're going to set, we need to sign agreements. Also, we need to register. We need to finish the registration at the authorities. I'm going to quickly go through one by one and to make a clear introduction on the key points of each step. For example, on the business industries, we need to decide that what kind of areas that we're going to invest. Actually, in China, we call the negative list, which means that certain areas on the list are not allowed by the foreign investor to invest in. For example, like domestic express, mining, and also certain infrastructure industries are strictly prohibited by the government. Which means that the foreign investors cannot invest in such areas. However, on certain fields, for example, vehicle industries, we have to perform or we have to fulfill certain requirements set by the government to be invested. And in addition to the forbidden or restricted areas, the other areas we are free to invest. I believe mostly like services or wholesales or the general sales and the productions. It's always welcome that in China for the foreign investors. Also, if we are talking about the forms, as we mentioned previously, now actually the Chinese government has opened a wild or a more free doors to welcome all the foreign investors in terms of the forms of business. Now we can set up a new company in China by yourself or jointly with Chinese companies or individuals. The company can be limited liability company in most cases, or even partnership. And also we can purchase certain shares and stocks of the existing Chinese companies to be evolved and become one of theirs. Also, we invest in the new projects or the other ways that are not forbidden by the Chinese company. And I believe in most cases, we'll set up a new company, and in the next step, I will introduce, like in most cases, how to set up a new company in China. Now, actually, the procedures has been quite simplified compared with like 5 or 10 years ago. Now, the Chinese government only requires certain very, very limited basic documents and also very, very simplified administrative procedures, and then we can start. First, of course, before we start a new company, we need to prepare certain basic documents. For example, we need to decide the shareholders, which is what kind of investors that we have, how many investors that we have. Are they all Chinese, or we also in all Chinese foreign investors, or what kind of other issues? And also, for example, we need to decide what kind of areas that we're going to invest, which city, which building we're going to rent, we're going to buy a house, or we're going to buy a land, or we just rent certain existing factories. Also, we need to prepare the basic article of association of the company. So if we decide to rent certain factories or to rent certain houses, we need to sign the lease agreement with the landlord first. And before we did the certain preliminary research and preliminary preparation, in most cities of China, they will apply for a pre-approval for the name of the company, which means that we need to decide the name of the company in Chinese, of course. And we submit online through the AIC system to check whether the name has been occupied by others, has been used by others. If not, we can reserve the name for a certain while and to prepare the other documents. For example, article of association that we mentioned, and also the information of the shareholders, and also the business of the scope, and also the identifications of the legal representatives and the other key management issues. And after we finish all these procedures, we need to submit online, and some places may ask us to visit on-site to have a face-to-face discussion, in particular in terms of the business of scope. And after we finish all of the procedures, the government will let us know whether they approve or not. If they approve, then they will issue a business license. After we obtain such business license, we basically can say that we can start our business. And of course, in addition to the business license, there are also other issues like seals, bank account, and we have to prepare. And DP actually has numerous experience on assisting clients or assisting foreign friends to set up new companies, no matter in terms of wholly owned by foreigners or joint ventures with Chinese companies. So if you have any other further questions, feel free to contact us. Thank you. If you have any questions, please contact us. Thank you.